Yes, we are live. Hello,
Hello.
everybody. In case you are wondering who I am, my name is Antonio Bryce. I am the creator of the comic book series brand. We are currently on Indiegogo. We have raised over $73,000 thanks to the kindness of folks such as yourself. And if you are interested in checking out Brand, I've got a link to the first 21 pages of the comic. You can check that out for free. Won't cost you a penny. And hey, we'd like to have your support. But I've got another project here today that I'm featuring. This one is called Merry Boys. Looks very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Karl Stephan. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. Hi, Antonio. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. No problem. What brings you to this side of the pond?
Oh, the comic book business, comic bookery. Yeah. Just doing. I've done indie comics for a while.
Oh, really?
And well, I published with Slave Labor. Have you heard of Slave Labor Graphics?
I have. Yes.
Yeah. I did a book with them in 2012. It was released, and pretty much not publishing anymore. They don't really do any more projects now. So just with the whole crowdfunding revolution, I was like, I really want to do it myself. Want to see what happens. And I can see there's a great level of excitement, a great groundswell of people into this stuff. So I was like, yeah, this is really cool.
Okay.
It's all in the States. It's all mostly in the States, though. That's it. So for everybody, yeah.
So it's not translating as much overseas.
There are a few projects here, but the big players, the big guys, all seem to be in the States.
Okay. Well, let's actually go back to the beginning. So what did you read? What did a young Karl read when he was a young lad coming up?
Yeah, well, I grew up with stuff like, well, my first comics were Mad Magazine. My dad used to bring that home. Yeah, massive fan. Still in there. It's a pity. It's a bit heartbreaking that they got cancelled quite recently.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I collected those. A bit of superhero stuff. Not massively. I did. I got into. I read the standard stuff: Batman, Superman, The Flash, some Marvel books. I really liked Spider-Man, the whole. And then they petered out when I was about 14, 15, and I really got into Vertigo. Also read a lot of EC comics. Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, etc. And of course, the British staple 2000 AD. I love Judge Dredd, Nemesis the Warlock, that stuff. To me, that's really good stuff.
Oh no. Okay, because I was like, I was trying to pull your campaign up, and I got bumped out. So I was like, oh, horrible. But I'm here. Right, so hold up. So I missed everything that you said after I asked the question, but hopefully you answered it.
Oh yeah. Do you think everybody else heard it? I can repeat it.
Well, you were still live. I was not.
Oh, right. Okay.
So yeah. Fortunately, that's one thing I do like about the StreamYards. Unlike Hangouts, like sometimes when you would lose in a Hangout, the whole thing would die. And with this, as long as there's someone in the actual live room, it'll stay active.
All right.
So yeah, that's why I was like, I had someone on the other week, and it kicked me out. And fortunately, he was able to keep talking until I could get myself back in there. And I was like, oh, okay, that's good. So that worked out. I'm gonna pull your I'm gonna try to pull it up again, and hopefully, I won't get bit this time. But I want. Let me see. Aha! Everybody's letting me know they heard you. That's awesome. Cool. All right. So that is sweet.
It's frozen. No, I think. Hey, there's Nikki. Hey, Nikki. Yeah, I think everything's frozen up now.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, okay.
Oh God, what is going on? It's like the stream is haunted. Okay, but I can hear because I looked down and there were two of you in the thing, and but that's fine. All right, I see your okay. The screen is sharing. I see your campaign. Proper Comics. So is that your label? Your imprint?
Yeah, that's it. It's a very British sort of thing. When you say something is yeah, it uses a noun here, proper. When it's something is proper, like you get a proper ale, you get a proper this. I just thought I'd use it. And also, it's shortened to PC, which is ironic because it's not very PC.
Well, I always when I saw the Proper Comics, I immediately thought of the Guy Ritchie film Snatch, and yeah, where they were like proper fucked. Hey, you know,
yeah, there we go. You got it. You got it exactly.
And so yeah, no, trust me, I watch a ton of like BBC and stuff. I love British television. It's
oh, that's great. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just I like yaldies and all that. You know, I love the I don't know, I love accents. So I was actually excited to have you on when I was like, oh, I get to talk to someone with a real accent because I've always like try to do like fake British accents and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, no, I've watched Snatch like 50 times. You know, the gangster that feed them to the pigs, boys.
Yeah,
yeah. I was like that, and like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. That I was like, man, that stuff just really, it really appeals to me. So
a really good movie is a Sexy Beast. Have you seen that?
Wait a minute, that's Ben was the guy that played Gandhi. And he was yeah, I can't remember. I've only saw the trailer. I have not. I need to peep that. What's that? Ben Kingsley. That's him.
Ben Kingsley. That's it. Yeah. Very good movie.
Yeah. Okay. I think he got nominated for an Oscar for that, but I haven't seen it. I need to check that out.
Oh, it's mental. You have to see it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's on my to watch list. I'm checking this stuff out. I was like, this really seemed interesting to me. So your style, I like it. It's just the right amount of cartoony. Kind of, you know, it really does take me back to some of those old British artists that I would see in the 70s and 80s. And I don't know who your influences are, though. So.
Yeah. When you didn't hear, it was basically it's 2000 AD. EC Comics, huge fan of Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, etc. And that sort of thing. These are so a lot of the painted stuff, the painterly sort of 2000 AD stuff from the 90s. I just love that. There, Glenn Fabry's, and you know, that sort of thing. Will Eisner is also a massive influence. I mean, Will Eisner, Jack Davis, obviously Wally Wood, hence the ink washes.
All right. Now, obviously, I am not British, so what is the meaning of the title "Merry Boys"? What is that about?
Oh well, the Mary is because there's the Catholic essentially, and it's basically they go out cleansing their little town of social evils, and they get this this vision of the Virgin Mary. Like sometimes you'd see the Virgin Mary appearing in a saucer of milk or in the sky or something, and you'd see it on the news. They see that apparition, and it would kind of mark their targets. And that's kind of like a name that's grown with them.
Okay. I mean, like I said, so the whole book is black and white or gray wash. I guess.
Yeah, that's it. I wanted to keep. I was thinking like because I've got after this initial campaign, I want to do more arcs, and some of those stories will be better suited to color. But I think for this one, I just want to keep it black and white.
No, because it reminded like I used to read like Cerebus and Grew the Wanderer and stuff. Sergio Aragonés that used to contribute to Mad Magazine quite often.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of that was black and white and stuff, and I used to pick those up. And I really, when it's done properly, it comes off a certain way. I really think this is really clean art. Who's doing your letters?
Me. It's a one man show.
Oh wow, yeah. Okay. And so I'm assuming like when you do your sound effects right here, I'm assuming you're drawing that onto the panel.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I try to incorporate sound effects in the art. To try like I'm also I love Dave Sim and the way he's probably got the most expressive speech balloons and sound effects in comics. I think just everything, you can tell everything by the shape and of that balloon and the sound effects, and it's I try and incorporate it as like a piece of the art.
Now, are you working digitally? Because like right here, this bottom panel here, this is great with all the cops. Man, I love this. This is great right here. This is it's very expressive. I mean, I could see this. I'm like, this literally just take me back to like 84, 85, going to the local store and seeing like Mad or Cracked magazine or something like that and being able to pick it up. This is what that feels like. Are you doing digital work or is this traditional?
No, it's all traditional.
Oh man. So, okay. So like this page is real. This is a beautiful page right here. I love this page.
Thank you. I really appreciate
it. This would be gorgeous hanging on my wall. That's why I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, this one would be fantastic. I'd love this page. Let's look here. Now, this is definitely giving me like a Mad Magazine type vibe here. You'd see some of those little parody articles of The World According to, and you'd see stuff like that. This is I love this. Look, nice use of shading here. This is great, man. This is great stuff. I was like, maybe I need to have you do a drawing tutorial. So I'd love to like film, although some people say drawing streams are boring. I love artists, man. I love seeing stuff like this. This is great, man. Nice use of perspective here. I like the feet panel. Look at this. This is great, man. Are you selling these pages on the?
I was actually thinking today I should probably do that. I'm going to introduce a new tire and put that as an original art tire. I'm going to do that. I should have probably done it today. But
yeah, man, these are great, bro. Yeah, you need to get original art pages up there ASAP, man. This is oh man, this is fantastic. Now this is interesting. Okay, you got the boot, you got the four. Now, are they brothers or are they these are four different guys?
No, they're brothers. They're quadruplets. And it ties in with the story when they were found when they were babies. So it's just like a mashup. They went literally in a boot.
But this piece of art actually exists, though. I mean, that's great, man. I like it. I'm serious, man. I'm getting like I'm geeking out because I'm having like old school like Mad Magazine type vibes and stuff. And I'm
really happy because that's exactly the sort of thing I love. It's the sort of thing that inspires me.
Yeah, and I had Jeff Smith on a few weeks ago, and that was right at the end of the interview. I asked him about Mad, shutting down, and that was,
I saw that.
Yeah, that was something. Mad Magazine was something I read all the time when I was a kid, so I was just like that. It's such an important magazine. I hate to see that it's going down. So let me actually go back up. I want to talk about the perks that you have here because your book is not overly expensive either. So if anyone out there wants to, let me see actually what your actual goal is. Okay, that's rather specific, 3,127. But I'm assuming they transferred it into U.S. dollars. I'm assuming you're on your side. It probably was what is it, a British pound sterling?
Yep, that's the reason for it. Yeah.
Okay, because I was like $3,127 is rather specific. But yeah, okay, so that's just the conversion. But you've raised $837. I mean, look, I'm telling you, man, this looks great, man. I'm really excited to talk to you. Let's see here. So your first perk here, one thing I would tell you, because I don't see it, I always tell everybody, make sure whatever you think your best perk is, you need to pick that perk and make it your featured perk.
All right, yeah.
So definitely do that, because when anybody goes to the page, that it puts that little highlight on it and it puts it right at the top. And I'm telling you, I didn't have a featured perk, and then I switched. When I direct them to that perk, my sales shot up tremendously. So which one of these perks that you think is your best one, I would highly recommend that you after the stream go and make it your featured perk, and that lets people know. Let me see here. So your first one is just $6. By the way, how many pages is the book?
There's 2 comics actually. I mean, I could have done it as one 48-page comic, but I wanted more surfaces to put more covers and things on. So it's 2 comics of 24 pages each.
Oh wow! So yeah, 2 books, so 48 pages. Now the digital basic, does that get both of the?
Yeah, that's it.
So you get 48 pages for $6. But obviously it's digital, but hey, like I said, it looks great, man. Let's see. Okay, so digital premium, and this apparently, oh wow, so you're really throwing everything in there, because I see the included items are the Mary Boys 1 and 2 digital files and the Sparko graphic novel PDF. How far along are you? Is this book already completed, or you still got a little bit more work to do on it?
On Mary Boys, yeah, it's all the lettering is done, all the final pencils have been done. It's literally just the inking that I've still got to do, and that's it. The inking, I've got about 34 pages left to ink.
Okay, so do you have a YouTube or anything? Do you do any drawing streams?
Not drawing streams. The reason being is just I haven't been able to find a sort of setup that records everything. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know. It just looks really granular, and yeah, you know what I mean. It's a bit hard. I've got a YouTube channel, and it's linked. No, where is it? Where is it now? I think I have it on my Twitter. I've got a general website that it's linked to my Twitter, and over there's tabs with my Instagram, YouTube, and all the rest of it on there too.
And I'm looking at your description, and one of the things you said, because it's kind of funny, because we mentioned Cerebus, is that this is a very British black comedy that will appeal to fans of comics like Tank Girl, The Goon, Cerebus, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Martial Law, and TV shows like The Young Ones and The League of Gentlemen. Now, the funny thing about The Goon is Eric Powell actually lives I was like, I could probably get to his stomping grounds in less than an hour. He lives in Nashville.
All right. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, I did not know that he was. I've been following him on. I was following him on Instagram, and then I found his Twitter a couple years ago and started following. And I noticed he had his location as Nashville, Tennessee, on there, and I was like, and he was tagging. Like he'd go to a pub and have a drink, and he, tagged, and I was like, wait a minute, that's in Tennessee. That's not that far from me. I know where that is. And then I started knowing he was tagging a lot of local restaurants and stuff when he would go out with his wife or whatever. And I was like, and then I found out he actually lived in Nashville. I was like, oh, that's cool. So I was like, yeah, he's someone that I used to see in Wizard magazine all the time. So I was a big fan of his. I'd love to speak to him one day. Hopefully I'll be able to make that happen with a little elbow grease. But I wanted to ask you, okay, so let's pull this up. This is your print comic for $15. So wait a minute. So it's saying that you get the digital files for both comics and the PDF for the Sparko graphic novel. Now, that's the one you did at what was
Slave Labor.
Yeah, Slave Labor. Okay, and then so you get the printed version of Mary Boys 1 and 2, and then your name in Mary Boys 1. You get all that for $15?
Yep. And every tie-up, you get everything that you got from the previous tie-up. Now, I'm trying to make it as attractive as possible. I just want people to read the stuff, just I just don't want to scare anybody off with too high a price.
Right. No, I get that. And also I would say, well, I meant to ask you, what's your shipping like on this? Because obviously you're across the pond, so I don't know how the shipping works there.
I think for the US, I put £6, which is probably $7-8 or something to that effect. That's just with Royal Mail.
I'd say about 9. Yeah. I was like, I'd say about 9.
Possibly, yeah.
But that's
in that region.
I mean, because like I said, you've got the. Are you signing these books?
I haven't thought of it. I can. I can probably add it to. I could probably add it if anybody's interested. I always just assume I don't want people don't want me ruining their comic with my scribbly signature.
Well, I mean,
I can if they ask me. I mean, just.
Well, the reason I'm saying that is because I was like, when I had Jeff Smith on, and then he was very gracious and mailed me a very, very heavy copy of the completed Bone in full color, and he drew like a little phone bone in there, and and I was like, that just was a huge thrill for me because I've been a fan for since I was like 16 years old. So, and I'm 44 now, and I was like, I've been a fan of this guy since I was like 16 years old. And I think one of the things before we went on the air, that was one of the things, I talked to him and his assistant, Catherine, before the stream went live. And I pulled up, I had a bunch of things that I had bought. I had like statues. And one of the things I pulled up and showed on the camera was a limited edition pen set that he had autographed. I think there were only like 2,000 of the pen sets made, signed and lettered or numbered, signed and numbered. So it was like, and I had like one in the 1300s or something. And he's like, man, I haven't seen one of those. He said, I remember doing those. And I was like, yeah, you've got your autograph on it. And, when we went off the air, I was like, hey, he kept talking about the color edition of Bone that's on Amazon. And I was like, I would, I said, hey, can I buy one of those? I would very much like. He said, I'll tell you what. He said, he said, send me your information. I'll send you one. He said, looks like you've been supporting my career for quite some time. And I was like, really? Yeah, and it was awesome, man. And
that's really cool. Yeah, he sounds like Jeff sounds like a good guy. Yeah.
Oh man, it was incredible. I was just a big fan of his. It was so nice of him. But yeah, it looked like you got a lot for $15 for this book. Let me pull this one up. The print comics and 3 art prints. Let's see, this perk features all the items in the lower tier plus A4. Okay, hold on. What is it? A4, 8x20.
Yeah. It's another thing I'll have to explain. So that's why I put the measurements in. You guys have different paper sizes, but it's roughly the size of a copy. It's the size of a copy of paper.
So let me see. Wait a minute. Did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Okay, I was like, yeah, you dropped it. I was like, oh my God, don't tell me I lost her. Okay, but yeah, okay, so we got different paper sizes here, but let me just go through them. Let's see, you get the digital file, because man, the digital files just sound like it's worth it on its own. So you get digital files of both and the Sparko graphic novel, so you get all that. And then you get Mary Boys 1 and 2 print. You get 3 art prints. And of course, your name in Mary Boys #1, and you get all that for 25 smackers. That is fantastic. Plus the shipping, of course. And let me go down. And this is the Print Deluxe patch tier. And let me see here. This perk includes all the items in the lower tiers plus an embroidered black and white sew on patch of the Mary Boy. Okay, how you pull that off? Because I know from talking to Doug to Naple, he was trying to give me some information. He did a Bigfoot Bill patch, and he's doing the Earthworm patch. And he was telling me how much the patches cost, but he threw in so many goodies, but he was telling me how much those patches cost, and I was like, yeah that's a little bit too much. That's a little too rich for my blood, young man. And
no, they are expensive. I think it's just getting them in bulk, because I mean, this is a long game. It's like I said, I've got another 2 long arcs planned after this. This is just the introduction. So I will use them again. So I'm just going to get, I'll just get an amount of patches that's going to make it worthwhile. Because I mean, the point of this campaign isn't really to make a big score on it. It's just to get myself geared up for setting things in motion for future campaigns, just to get the thing rolling, get people interested.
Yeah, like I said, it looks like you really definitely need to put an original art tier up here, because I think these pages look fantastic, dude. But Nikki Harris in the chat says, what is the Sparko comic, just out of interest?
Okay, that's like we said, that's an old comic I did with Slave Labor Graphics back in the day. It was almost like have you read Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman?
I know the book, but I haven't read that. I've been mostly his Sandman stuff and what's that? And stuff like that.
It's almost like a very indie version of that. It's a very it's like this guy who falls into this world under London, and what happens. It's a crazy sort of, also like a very British comedy inspired sort of romp, fantasy novel, and it featured one of the Templars when he's an adult already, right at the end. So and this is actually how the idea for the Merry Boys actually came about, because I needed to fill up another page to make up the page count. So I thought, okay, I'll just do something funny. So I did 4 of them in the style of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Did like a pinup of 4 Templars when they were kids, like posing with the logo and everything. And that kind of spawned this series. But yeah, Sparko, I guess it gives you some sort of insight of where this idea came from. But it's a freestanding story. One doesn't really have all that much to do.
It is connected to this, or like a prequel, or
it is. You could say that Merry Boys is a prequel to Sparko, but they're completely freestanding. And it isn't like I don't really plan on one being brought into the other one's timeline.
Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to. I was like, oh, okay. So if it's obviously I know you did the Sparkle one first, but that would be interesting. Let me see here. Okay, so you definitely need some more tiers. But I think if you go back and add original art, because I was like, yeah, I'm already out of tiers. Your last one is an original sketch, which I see that some people have taken advantage of because it's really cheap. I don't know how big the sketch is that you plan on sending, though.
It's not terribly big. It's half of an A4 page. That's A5. I forget what the measurements are for that. So it's like it's bigger than a card. It's bigger than a sketch card. Let's see. It's about copy. So it's about that big. There we go. A5.
Oh, hold on. Let me put it on you. Hold on. Let me see. You put it on you.
Sure. Next to my head.
Boom. Aha. There we go. And so that's the size of it, which is not bad. That is, I'm assuming you'll do like basically like, say, I don't know how detailed you're going to get with it. Like if it's going to be like maybe a con level sketch or so.
Like a con sketch. watercolor sketch. And I was thinking of just doing that and inking that, or like one of a single character. I think that's the way to do it.
All right, so let me see. William Crawford Hazel says Carl's doing it all old school with hand drawn art. Respect. I respect that too. I definitely love hand drawn art. I am a sucker for it. As you can see, I have some of it hanging all in my home.
Oh, I can see. Yeah.
One of the things that, well, actually, I see in the shot, I see two pieces by Matthew Weldon. The one in the center is Matthew Weldon's variant cover for the sequel to Brand Book One, Brand Way of the Gun. So that is one of the 6 variant covers that I'll be shipping out. And then let me see if I can move my head a little bit. Yeah, and that is Beast, done by Sanford Green, who I had on the channel a few months ago. He was promoting his comic Bitter Root, which is fantastic. They're put out through Image, and they sold the rights for, I guess, a television series to HBO. So I guess he's gonna, if it's a hit, they'll be seeing a few extra dollars from it, because I reached out to him and I congratulated him for that. So that is, he's a super nice guy, and he was doing some original commissions, and I decided to snag one and to get it. As you can see, most of the stuff I have is black and white. So this is actually one of only 2 colored pieces I own. So to actually, Sanford is. I would love to maybe have him come back and see if I can get him to do like a drawing stream or something, because he's got such a unique style. His style doesn't look. I've seen some like Justice League or something that he drew, and he's got like a really funky type style that is just really appealing though. So I was just and again, traditional, although he has I think he has a Wacom. I remember I asked him, and he can do digital, but he prefers that, putting that pen to the paper. So and that's why I'm saying, like, just looking at your art, man, it just looks really, really cool. And so if you're how long have you been drawing? I mean, did you go to school? Because some people are self-taught and all that kind of stuff.
No, self-taught. No, just it's like everybody. I guess it's the staple sort of answers. As long as I can remember, I've been drawing. At some point I just decided I want to teach myself color theory, perspective anatomy, design. I just went through a series of videos, and I just taught myself what I could online.
Right. Okay, man. Like I said, book looks really good, man. Are you going? Okay, so you obviously have, in this particular campaign, you've got 2 different books. And so, are you planning on, or is this the whole story, or do you got a series of other books that you want to do?
This is going to be the origin story, and it introduces the major characters and introduces you to their world, and then there's just going to be another 2 arcs after that, and the arcs are composed of shorter sort of stories ranging from 1 page to 5 pages. And then they will all converge and tie together into like a sort of finale, and knock onto the next stage. I've been planning this for quite a long time. So I feel like I've fleshed out the characters. I really know who they are, what they are, and where they're going to be driving far into the future. So
you're writing. You're the writer on this as well.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, man.
One man.
Yeah, I love it, man. So you wrote it. You're the artist. You're doing the letters. You're doing colors where they're necessary or whatever. So I'm like, I'm scared of you, brother. You just, I'm like, can you give somebody else a job? Can somebody else get a job?
Well, I think in the future, I would like to do some, if it's going to be interior colors, then I will, I think I'll buckle and I'll get somebody to do color flats,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, it looks great, man. I think I'm like it. I want to do a book that has this kind of style. I have some ideas for a comic. There was a couple of different, because someone was like, once we finish Way of the Gun, Kane is supposed to start doing Fearsome with Ethan Van Sciver. So I was curious. I've been looking for, so I was like, man, I think your style would lend to what I was wanting to do. There's a concept I have for a comic that I call the Burger Wars, and it sounds crazy. It's fast food. It may seem foreign to you though, because I know y'all have fast food over in Britain as well, but I don't know. It might seem very American, but I want it to kind of have like that kind of style, like what you've done. I want it to have that. I definitely, I want it to be more. It'll be more mature, kind of, maybe a little mix of like Beavis and Butthead, South Park type humor.
That actually reminds me. Or you mean like McDonald's versus Burger King?
That's exactly
Kinda... There was a 2000 AD story of Judge Dredd going out into the cursed earth and battling these warlords, and one was the king from Burger King, and the other one was Ronald McDonald. They banned it. I mean, they couldn't republish that comic because of because of the laws.
Enough to but I mean, which is kind of crazy because the parody is protected under certain circumstances, but you do have to. Well, it's just like when you do reaction videos on YouTube, you can get in trouble for that because I've read, because I've unfortunately gotten knocked a few times for doing stuff, especially when I was trying to learn in the beginning. I didn't know that I could just show somebody else's stuff, and they go, "Well, you didn't change it in a transformative way."
Copyright strike. Yeah.
So but parody is protected up to a point. So I'm sad to hear that, but that the style that you're doing, it would lend very much to, I don't know, maybe I could type up something and see if you might be interested. But because I've been looking, because people are like, what are you gonna do when Way of the Gun is finished? And I'm like, because I definitely want to do kind of a layover book while Kanan is working with Ethan. I want to try to just fund. It doesn't have to be a huge blow up hit, but hopefully if we do it right, I don't know, maybe even the gray wash because like I said, the gray wash looks great, but maybe, or you could even offer, I could see doing like a gray wash version, because some people are asking if I will do like once we go, get in full print, maybe go back a year or so from now and maybe release a black and white version of Brand, with just because changing and everything. So it's just something I've considered. I know I've talked to Kanan about that, and so maybe since we'll already have the files, might not be the worst idea on the planet. So
and I mean, black and white looks excellent on newsprint because it kind of, it takes away from that really crisp line and it kind of mellows it out. So it looks really good on that sort of print.
Yeah, and it could be done extremely cheaply. That's why I was like, I can do a newsprint. Boom. I think I have the cover that I want to use for it. So it's something. It's definitely something that's on the radar, just not right away. But your book looks really, really cool. I might have to throw a few dollars behind that, but especially if you get an original art tier. Let me see if you throw something up. But like I said, that one panel I saw with the coppers, I really dig that one, man. I just I thought it looked really cool. Hold on, let me go to the chat. Let me see. I'll pull up Nikki Harris. Boom. All right.
Nikki's very active.
Yes. Will your book be on newsprint or the glossy stuff?
I'm thinking a good quality uncoated stock. It's not newsprint, so it's going to be thicker than that, but it's not going to be glossy. I'm going to get some test prints just to see exactly how I want to do it. But yeah, I wanted to have like this old sort of almost like on some of the old Will Eisner collections that I have. It's a nice thick sort of paper, and it doesn't have that coating. And because I'm doing almost like a semi Will Eisner sort of style with the washes, I think that would probably be the best reproduction for the comics.
Okay. But I mean, I actually think, you could probably print this, because since you are doing the gray washes, I think newsprint might actually do. I've seen some of I got some samples sent to me a couple months ago. And but unfortunately it was a full color. He sent me the same book, but one was the newsprint version, and then the other was, with the like glossy, I guess 70, 80 weight on the paper and everything. And unfortunately with the colors, the newsprint really muddied it up, so but with what you're doing, I think newsprint would look, and it's not cheap. You could get, there's some really good paper stock that's not gloss that I've seen. And I just, like I said, everything, keep it affordable, and you already I mean, it looks like you already kind of have everything set out, man. It looks really cool, man.
Thank you. It's weird having a comic that you work on for a while, and then it's like your baby, and then it's like yours, only you get to see it, and then suddenly you put it out there on the internet, and then everybody talks about it, and it's weird. It's like it's all of a sudden you get attention paid to it. It's getting used to it.
Well, I've been in that situation where I was working on a comic and no one was talking about it.
I've had that.
Which was brutal, because I maxed my credit cards out trying to, I was buying like Twitter ads and Facebook ads and stuff. I was like, well, if you don't advertise, no one's going to see it. And
do you think ads work though? Do you think it actually makes any difference if you do the Facebook and the Twitter ads? I don't know. I'm very skeptical about whether it's actually.
No, that's a good question. My tests with Twitter were not very good. I know some other people that said, now my test just using Twitter, period, the free stuff, thumbs up. I've made a lot of money just retweeting and doing that kind of stuff. But doing the Twitter ad where they bump it up and then everybody sees it, it wasn't very good. So, and it's expensive. Even just even the $50, they'll be like, "Oh, you pay us $50, and maybe 1,200 to 2,500 people will see it." And I'm looking, and I've got the data back, because they run it for a day or so, and then they get those impressions up. And when I look down, I check the data, and I'm like, okay, so this many people saw it. They're looking at what they call engagement, who actually looked at it and maybe liked it or retweeted, that kind of thing. And I was like, the engagement was okay, but I'm looking at, they say, hey, that's engagement. That's great. But I'm like, if it's engagement without an action, and what I mean by an action is going to the page and maybe possibly making a purchase. Yeah. So if I have 300 or 400 people that like the tweet, and then they may actually go to the Indiegogo and check it out, but they didn't make a purchase.
I've heard some of the criticism that, fine, you get your engagement and sometimes you get your interaction, but it's not your target audience. It's not your comic book people. It's not comic book people specifically interested in crowdfunding.
Yeah. And now you can target that more on Indiegogo. I mean, not on Indigo, on Instagram. You can, so like on my Akari Press Instagram, we've got almost 12,000 people that follow, like 11,500 and some change. So I'll put a post up. Normally I'll take somebody else's art now that looks really cool, and I'll start noticing when I look on my analytics and I'll start checking. I'll be like, whoa, this one's going crazy. Like you can tell after you post so many things with the audiences. If I find a piece of art from one of the art, like I'll post something from like a Tyler Kirkham or Jim Lee, or Rob Liefeld might post something up, or just any there's a guy Mike Bowden that I like, and Gabriel Del Otto, Francesco Mattina. It's like they'll do, he does a lot of digital stuff, but it's super detailed and everything. And so like he did like a zombie Batman variant for Deceased, DC zombie thing that they're doing. So he did one of
Yep.
those, and I noticed when I posted it, my phone kept lighting up. You know, it was giving me the, hey, this person liked it. Hey, this person liked, hey, you know, now, you know, and definitely use your tagging system on Instagram. That's one of the biggest mistakes I've seen people do. They'll post a picture and they'll be like, okay. They don't put the hashtags on there.
Yeah.
And so, like, if I posted a picture of the Joker, right? And then I put all the, you know, they got the Joker movie coming up. So all those hashtags are hot right now. So I put them on there. And all of a sudden, my phone's like, boop, this person like, boop, boop, boop. And I started noticing it was going crazy. So that's the piece of art that I need to advertise. I was getting the right, it was going crazy. I could tell just from a couple of hours. Like, I'll post it before I decide to make an ad out of it. I'll post it and I'll wait, like, say about 6 hours, just kind of as a test to see. And then once I start, I was like, okay, within 6 hours, this thing got X amount of likes from my followers. And it's higher than average. So when I post something hot, you can tell it spikes. People are tagging their friends, something like, you know, like they'll go in the comments and tag a friend to tell them to come and look at it. And I'm like, that's engagement. That's what I'm looking for. So once I see that, that tells me that that's a hot piece. And that if I'm going to run an ad, I'm going to use that. So
Right.
that's the one I want to use. So that's what I did. I had a hot Joker piece, and I was like, it's getting a lot of reaction. And
That's
so
cool. It's always interesting to me to speak to people about how they do the promotion, because to me, I'm just like I do the writing, I do the art, but the marketing is so incredibly important. I'm just such an amateur when it comes to this stuff. So it's good. It's good to hear how people approach this.
yeah, and it's the same with the PDF. Like, you know, we're running late on the book, although thank God we're on the last 8 pages. So 8 more pages, and then I can you know, have everything prepped and colored. And but you know, everybody was like, Antonio, where's the book, man? What's going on? And I was like, I started looking. I said, you know, I've got quite a bit of the story. I can take 21 of these pages, because there was a little break point that actually was kind of an accident, because Kanan added an extra page when he was doing his layouts. And I was like, that wasn't in the script, but I was like, leave it in there. And so he went ahead and rendered the page. It's once he did that, and I started looking over my color files, I said, this page here where they teleport out, that's the stopping point if I want to do a preview. So then I took those pages and, you know, had the font added to them and put what I thought was a very nice PDF. And I had people telling me, Antonio, don't release the PDF. That's a mistake, man. You know, people will pirate and everything. And I said, look, no one knows who I am. Some people have heard of Kanan because he worked with like Kyron Gillen on Uber. You know, he worked with Max Brooks, the writer of World War Z. That you know, he did Harlem Hellfighters with him. He's done.
Yep.
He's been working professionally for 13 years. And Ethan Van Sciver is in the chat, and the book looks great. Mr. Van Sciver would like to know, are you Comicsgate?
Yeah, I don't. To be honest with you, the DNA of this comic is completely Comicsgate.
Yeah, I saw the gentrification thing. I thought that was funny. I saw, but your pages look great, man. I was like, just the ink wash, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, I love Ethan. You know, Ethan is a dear friend, and you know, he helped me. And if Ethan would, you know, obviously Ethan could put some eyes on this project, because it does. I mean, you're only trying to raise $3,000. But I definitely think you need to put an original art tier up there, because your pages, once you told me that the gray washes just look beautiful, dude, I love them. And yes, this is, I mean, you've got a great looking project here, and you're not asking for a lot of money. I say, you know, your book is cheap. Not only that, you're getting all the PDFs from your other book and the other. I'm like, you got a lot of stuff going in here. I mean, hell, you could just get the digital perk for $6, man. So, oh yeah. I got you, Ethan. Okay, so we're gonna bring Ethan on. So oh, you're gonna get an audience with Ethan Van Sciver. This is
wow.
interesting. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna bring Ethan on. Let's get him in.
Should have won a tie.
Well, all right, hold on. All right, Ethan, I'm about to drop it in there on you. Here we go.
John Malin's here too. Well,
I'm like, okay. Well, I mean, is he asking for the link? Because I'll send John the link too. You know, John's been on. You know, John is always welcome on my channel. You know, so let me see. But Ethan's got the link if he hops on. And yeah, I see Malin. Boom. Malin, are you coming in too, or do I need to send you a link because we can all get it going? But Mr. Van Sciver will be on. But no, dude, your book looks great, man. Matter of fact. Oh, okay, cool. John, okay. So matter of fact, just for some of the new people, hopefully I won't I'll wait till Ethan comes on before I do it because I don't want to try to do the share screen and bump everybody out. Oh, there he is. All right. So here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Ethan Van Sciver.
All right.
Mr. Stephan?
Hi. Yeah. Hi, Ethan. How you doing?
Good. I'm really good. I have to say, I just checked in because I saw Antonio was live streaming. How you doing, Antonio? Thanks.
I'm doing fantastic, my friend. Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm great show as usual. I looked at the book and the book looks like a winner to me. Are you an old school like kind of EC guy?
Massively. Yeah. I love EC comics. And big mad fan. Yeah, no, that's my DNA. And Will Eisner. I love Will Eisner stuff.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I was going to ask about Will Eisner and Wally Wood. It's all in your work. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to give you a couple suggestions for your Indiegogo campaign, if you don't mind. If I'm presumptuous. It says Merry Boys. I'd like you to see if you can get an image of the artwork up there instead of the video that just has this logo. This logo for your company, because people are going to skip right by it. Just as somebody who's seen a lot of these campaigns work, they need to see a very arresting image right away.
Are you doing the share screen? Because I was like, if you're doing the share screen, let me put it on yours.
No, I'm not. I'm actually just looking at it, and going through it. I scrolled through this and was, I always look, when somebody's talking about a new artist and an Indiegogo campaign, I just want to check and see if it's somebody that like is really, really good or somebody who's kind of an amateur. But this guy's really, really good, and he should get funded pretty quick. And the reason why he's not, I would say, would probably be because you're going to share that the campaign image. Let's see. Look how good that is. Dude, you're a fucking Eisner winner.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks better. I got logo. I got the video logo. See, I'd rather see that up there, or I'd rather see an image of all the boys together like that. That's what I don't want to see. That doesn't help me. That looks great. Let me see what else is there. Just like, you got to get somebody in the first few seconds. That looks pretty good too. What else? Trying to see the best image possible. That is really funny. Great. Any more?
It's the last one right here.
And that's
as you can see, it cuts off there. Yeah, but I mean, he's got some great. Let me go back down because I want to show this because one of the things I told him, he definitely needs a featured perk up here, and I thought once he showed me these little gray washes, I thought, like this stuff
looks how good that is.
Yeah, dude. And like I said, he's already about a third there, but I love this page because I actually want this page. This page here with the
page.
Yeah, I think he's gonna put. I don't want to speak for you, but I think.
Yeah. I'm gonna put an original art tire up there and just and include the original art.
They definitely need to be more than $50, I would say.
They better be more like 200 at least. At least.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, at least. Because, man, but this page right here, I love this because I was like, look at the cops, man. I was just like, look at it. One guy's got his teeth kind of that. I was just like, really nice detail. I was like, this is what, unfortunately, some people, and I understand we all love comics. Sometimes people send me stuff and they're not very good. And you have to be honest. I'll let someone come on, but some things I can understand why the campaigns aren't getting funded. But this stuff right here, I'm like, look how clean this is. This clear. Look, like I said, it was taking me back to like the 80s Mad Magazine. Just looks great. this great shot here with all the feet and everything, and then look how the bottle, the can just kind of overlaps into that bottom panel. Nice perspective right here. I just thought that just looks fantastic. I was really excited when I saw this. I think this could be one of the best projects that we've had out of like.
Ooh, careful.
Keep scrolling down. Keep scrolling down. What else is there? Is there anything else?
I think he's got just a little bit more.
Can I see if I missed anything?
See, that's with the nice lion here.
That's good, man.
I love this now.
It's when they're shoved into the boot. Yeah.
That was great. And then
smart. So good.
Dude, like I said, this stuff looks great. And then that's it. Okay.
Karl, is this your first can I call you Karl? Do you mind?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Ethan. Is it your first campaign? I mean,
yeah, first campaign. Not the first comic, but first campaign.
Where have you worked before?
I did a Slave Labor Graphics.
Yeah.
I did a graphic novel with them a few years back.
Cool. Okay.
It sank really badly, so I thought this time I want to take matters into my own hands and see where it takes me.
Oh, it looks really, really good. If you want to come on my show, I mean, and let's tell more people about you. I wouldn't mind that.
I'd love that.
Okay. All right. I'll let you go. Karl, I wanted to meet you. I like your work a lot, and I think you're going places. So it's an honor. And thank you, Antonio, for having me on.
I love you, brother. Thank you so much.
Love you too. All right. See you later.
Cheers, Ethan. Cheers.
All right, Ethan Van Sciver, folks. And it sounds like you're going to make a trip. So I can tell you from my experience going on the first time, it really helped. I went to bed and it was like $4,000. All of a sudden, I was like, "Whoa, where did this come from?" And then I went to work and I came back and it was like at $8,000. It was like it just kept going, So, Ethan, and he doesn't have to share his platform. He's always been so generous. It's like, I don't know. I feel very protective of him because he helps people, and then obviously things happen and. It's like I'm telling you, I had $84 in the bank and I had maxed my card. I believed in brand. I was like, we've got a great book. Why isn't anyone, I'm spending thousands of dollars on advertising. I can't get it. And I just, man. And then finally, I'd almost given up and trying to come up with different things to put on YouTube and stuff like that, and I just couldn't figure out a video, and I decided to make a pot of gumbo, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna watch Ethan and I'm gonna make a pot of gumbo, and I called it Comic State Gumbo, and I did, and unfortunately that video got flagged when someone attacked my channel, but it was okay.
Wait, for making gumbo?
Well, I had 300 videos that and they're looking into it. They've been looking into it for 6 months, but all my original interviews, that I had with Steve Englehart, and I had Ann Nacini on, and I had Sanford Green. Fortunately, through various means, I've managed to restore all those interviews. I was like, thank God. But there were some older, streams that I had, like, some indie creators, like, first time I had Kane and White on stream with me, Ben that does Asgard. I had him on, and just so many great, Elliot. I remember I had Elliot Fernandez on the first time, and different, just so many different comic skate creators and stuff. So I hate that I don't have those. So it's very annoying, but the channel obviously is still here and it's surviving, and people are supporting your work, and they're supporting my work, and I really like this medium. I enjoy comics, so
it's been so embracing. I mean, people have really opened up. I'm really glad I found this community. I just don't think it would have worked any other way, to be honest with you. Because with the state of indie public, but people say a lot of things about the mainstream. The mainstream has become completely politicized, and it's hard to get, and you have to basically sing along, or you get chanted out. It's the same thing with indie comics to a large degree. I mean, and the only way for me and for a lot of people, I think, is just putting shoulders to the wheel and just doing it themselves. And it's really good to have a lot of people who are on the same page. Fans alike. I mean,
Yeah, I think this is an incredible community, man. And it's just like I said, a lot of times it's just even when I wasn't getting on it with it, I know for a fact I just started seeing the fans just tweeting Brand out. I wasn't getting on anything, it's like, Ethan knows I was trying to get his attention for quite a while, it just, he was helping so many other people, and, you don't get frustrated. You're just like, well, somebody will see this, hopefully. And I just started noticing people were like, look at this book, check this book out. And I was just, it just kept growing. And that's what, really started moving things for me. People started seeing it, because I knew the art, would help push it a certain, and that's
But to be honest with you, like this Nicky Harris chap in the chat, right? He's been he's been promoting my book like crazy. He's been tweeting more about it than I have myself. And it's like people like that just getting enthusiastic about it. I'm like, wow, okay, about my stuff, it's really taken aback. I was like,
you might have, say you only have like 50 or 60 followers, right? But someone might be following you that has 200 followers, and somebody might be following them. So if you show them something that's cool and then they retweet it, and then because I've noticed some of the things, and I'll look, I'll tweet, Kanan will do a page and he'll give it to me, and all of a sudden I'll tweet it out, and then they'll tweet it out, and then someone else, and then all of a sudden I notice my follows go up and all that. That's why I was saying about Instagram marketing, because you have to do, Instagram's a different beast, particularly because you can't do hyperlinks on there. I'm glad they added. They did the feature where you can add hyperlinks to your story now, so you can do a story, like say you do a screenshot of Mary Boys, and then put the link to Mary's, like, hey, swipe up, and then they swipe up and it'll take them to it. So you can do that. So some people, like Elliot did me a favor, Elliot Fernandez, he did a favor for me a couple months ago where he was like, hey guys, check out Brand, and he's got 125,000 Instagram followers. So someone like that puts you in their story mode, you'll start noticing some traffic coming. He can get people to, and he did like a live stream on the Instagram one time, and he sent me, he was like, hey, come on. And so we did like the live chat while he was drawing and me and him were talking, and it was only like 20 people in there, right? So within 24 hours though, because it stays up for 24 hours, we came back, he was like, dude, it was like 3,000 people that watched that at the end of the day. So it was like they came in, and I was like, that's what I'm talking about right there. So, you can go back. That's one thing I like about the Instagram story mode. It'll stay up for 24 hours, so you can do stuff like that. I mean, you just got to be a little more, use a little bit more ingenuity, I guess I would say.
Yeah, I'm gonna be more alive to this stuff. Like I've seen people post their stories on Instagram. I don't know how to use it. I've just never done it. That's a little bit behind the times.
Yeah, man. But this is, I mean, yeah, I'm not, I'm really excited. I think you've got a special project here, and I really think, well, obviously, since Ethan has extended you the invitation, I think he's gonna get some eyeballs on this. Because that's one thing about Comicsgate. If you're good, the people will show you a little love. And I really think your project is special. It's a privilege to talk to you today. I'm really happy that we had this conversation.
I'm honored to be on here, to be honest. Thank you very much for having me. I mean,
man, well, I want you to, tell us your social media and stuff. How can people reach out to you, man? Because I'm
always on Twitter. That's probably like the main thing. So it's at MaryBoys1. One is the letter number one. The reason it's MaryBoys 1 is because I had a hell of a time registering a Twitter account, because have you seen the tagline? It's 4 teenage knights temper at the fag end of the 20th century. I think I kind of shot myself in the foot with the fag.
See, that's the thing, because it's just like like I also know like fag is a cigarette over in the, I've heard that. So I'm sitting here going, I saw that, but I was like, to US people, they might get woke and triggered from saying that, but the art speaks for itself, man. So I just well, I was gonna close it up, but he said Ethan tweeted it out. So if there are some more people coming, I don't want to just cut it off without letting them actually see, because maybe I can if it jumps up a little bit, we can go back and do another screen share and show people your project. But I am talking to Karl Stephan. Am I saying your last? Because it looks like Stephan, or is it Stephen or Stephan?
Stephan.
Yeah, that's why I was like, okay, Karl Stephan. Forgive my southern twang. He's got a great project on Indiegogo. It's called Merry Boys. It really has a great original feel to it. And okay, let me see here. Zay Comics says he just followed you. Bam. All right. So I'm really excited. I think you're about to do some nice business, man. I think you're about to,
awesome.
Yeah, and like I said, you're getting 2 comics. You're not just getting one. What's 2 24-page comics?
That's it. Yep.
And you've got some really cheap tiers. Matter of fact, before I close out, let me try to do it again. Hopefully this won't hold on. Let me see what's going on. Okay, hold on. So I don't know. Let me do a quick, because I know when people find out Ethan's was on, they always hop out. Let me share your Indiegogo one more time, and let's go through it. So this is Merry Boys, and let's see. Right now you are 837. Let me see. Can I refresh it? I don't know if you've gotten any new business. Let's see, since we've been streaming. Hopefully it will work. And okay, it is on the refresher side of the game. Okay, so you're at 893. And okay, I like your logo, Proper Comics. And,
it's also it's a bit of a homage to EC as well. That's something I was like, I didn't
recognize that, but this thing with the babies in the boots, this is cool. Love this here. And you know what? This almost looked like I almost thought he looked like Dirk the Daring from Dragon's Lair. I remember. I don't know if what's that? Don Bluth Studios did that.
Right. Yeah, the animator.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And I saw this and I thought, I was like, that kind of had like a Dragon's Lair type vibe. So I thought that was cool. And like I said, you got really, again, you do a featured perk and do some original art, and I think you're going to get funded rather swift. But like I said, you got some pages here, man. These pages look great. I'd love to frame one of these up. This is my page right here, man. I love this.
Consider it done. I'll definitely do that.
Yeah, man, this is the one. And like I said, I love this. I saw this and I tell you, it really reminded me of like one of those Mad Magazine, news strips or something that they would put, like The World According to, and you'd see this. I was like, man, like I look, you see here this nice angle here. You really got some good stuff going. Because I'm telling you, so many people send me books and sometimes they're not, as they say, not ready for prime time. I definitely think your book is unique and special. And oh man, okay. So Amanda, let me see. Hold on. Amanda says, yes, he looks like Dragon's Lair. The later year. Well, see there it is. And Dirk the Daring is the guy's name. And I was like, yeah, but I'm a big fan of Don Bluth going back to when they did The Secret of Nim.
Yeah.
And then I know they also did the American Tails movies with Steven Spielberg. So yeah, but
sorry, was it American Tail? Did you say? Yeah. Faisal goes to New York. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. All that. Yeah, Steven. Yeah. Don Bluth. Don Bluth was a Disney animator, and he left. Well, Disney was starting to. I think it was after they did the Fox and the Hound. the movie did not do as well as they thought it was going to do. And for a while there, they said Disney was going to get out of doing the animated movies. And then they came back. I think they had also did the Oscar, the one with, I can't remember, Oscar and something. The one, Oliver, Billy Joel. Billy Joel was
Oliver and Company. Yeah.
Company. And they, like I said, they done a couple movies and they didn't do it quite as well animated, and they were kind of phasing out. And I think Don Bluth left at that time. He was like, okay, well, they're starting to kind of cut back on the work. And at that point, he founded, Don Bluth Studios, and they did The Secret of NIMH, which I think Secret of NIMH still holds up like 40 years later. It is an incredible piece. I mean, it's one of the greatest animated films, period. Disney, anybody else. So they did that. Then they ended up coming back with The Little Mermaid, which when they did The Little Mermaid, all of a sudden you make it $300-400 million. It blows up, and they go, maybe
it's whim, isn't it? I mean, that's it. I'm hoping 2D animation will make a comeback when at some point, because it's beautiful stuff.
I don't have a problem with CG animation because it's still the basic art form, but there's something about hand-drawn art that just does it for me, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's probably just because I do hand-drawn art, to see it moving around, seeing that level of artistry. I mean, I'm reading right now. The guy who did what's his name? Who did Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did a book or the animated survival kit. And I'm reading through that now to try and and it's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, I'd actually heard they were talking about doing another Roger Rabbit, like updated or something. So I was like, I don't know how that would. Because I mean, obviously, Who Framed Roger Rabbit was groundbreaking at the time, but now you can go back and kind of look at it. It's like, okay, kind of. But I mean, with the way they do CGI and stuff now, they could probably do it 10 times is better. It's like some of those older movies don't hold up on the same level. So it just man, but yeah, I'm a big animator, especially like I love what's that, Hideo Miyazaki, like Japanese anime and stuff like what's that, Keys Delivery Service and what was the one with the Princess Mononoke and stuff like that. I love it.
Yeah.
God, like Princess Mononoke is incredible. I've been trying to find a better they've got it like on DVD, and sometimes it's hard to find like a good transfer on Blu-ray. It's like, Princess Mononoke is incredible, and I was like, I remember they opened that. It was one of those. A lot of those anime films don't get to play in States in theaters, and they put it in theaters. And I remember they had Gillian Anderson. That was one of the stars of the X-Files, which I know she does a lot of British television, which surprised me. Gillian Anderson has been on a couple of BBC shows, and I was like, there's something on Netflix where she's playing a detective or an inspector. I don't know what you call her, because I watched like Luther. I loved what's that? Luther, Idris Elba. Yeah, Inspector John Luther.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a disadvantage because we don't own a TV, so everything that I watch is just retro stuff. Get the movies, get the series, watch all in one go. I'm so behind on TV. I haven't watched anything.
There's a couple of great British television shows that I love. I love, obviously I've watched some of the newer Doctor Who stuff. Torchwood, all the Torchwood stuff is great. Although some people aren't into that, but I love it. Torchwood was great. Luther, and then what was it? There's a great kind of gritty cop show called Tommy Boys, or Tommy Boy, and I know Netflix is going to do like a American version of that. They're going to have the rapper Drake bought the U.S. rights to it. They're going to do some kind of, but you can watch the British version on Netflix. They've got it loaded up.
That happens from time to time, doesn't it? I mean, Shameless, they did an American version of that. I never saw the American one.
Version. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Shameless is still on here. I don't think it's still on.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty good while it was on here, though. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think Friends was a British, or it was some version of a British show or whatever, and they tried to.
Really?
It's like I thought that's what they probably just ripped something off. But was it what's the one with the Ab Fab? Absolutely Fabulous. I've seen that.
Right. Yeah.
And then was it Ricky Gervais with Extras and The Office? Yeah, I've seen. Like I said, I watch all that stuff, man. I was just I love British television. I can't. Gordon Ramsay. I love watching Gordon Ramsay specials and stuff like that.
Have you ever watched The Mighty Boosh?
Haven't heard of that.
No, okay. It's like a surreal sort of comedy show. It's I completely rate it. Like sort of dark, it's like offbeat dark sort of comedy. League of Gentlemen is another big favorite of mine. Going back to the well, have you heard of that?
I hadn't. I've heard of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but I haven't. I'm I'm a big Alan Moore fan, but I hadn't heard it. No, the League of Gentlemen. Until you mentioned it earlier, I hadn't seen that. But it's something I need to check out because, like I said, I love British television. So,
you love that. It's extremely British, dark sort of humor in both of those. If that's, I don't know if that's what you're into, but it's quite merciless sometimes.
Yeah. Also, like I said, I mentioned the Guy Ritchie films. Like I've seen Rock and Roller, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels. Snatch is like my favorite. I love Snatch. I've
you like those,
that.
I'm sure. It's got that same sort of morbid sort of sense of humor running through it. Yeah.
But yeah, sure. I would definitely, if you like. How could I forget? There was another one that I watched, the police drama Cracker. I love that. Right. That was great. They did a U.S. version, and it didn't. It was. I was like, man, the British version of Cracker is incredible. And I was like, it just ran. I think it only had like 3 series or something. It didn't run, but that's some of the most incredible television. I was like, one thing I've always talked about when I watch British television is I've noticed that Hollywood, all the actors look real plastic. Everybody's had their teeth done. Everybody's had like press lifts and all this, and everybody looks. One thing I like when I watch British television is all the actors look like real people. Their teeth are a little crooked, and they'll do a love scene and they got the love handles hanging out and everything. They just look like normal people. And I was like, normal people look like that. They don't look like what's on like Melrose Place or Beverly Hills 90210. Everybody's like, oh, we're perfect. And
that's Jason Stratham. He can be bald,
Yeah, exactly. I'm a big, because I followed him Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, and then to Snatch, and then I was like, the fact that he gets all these big movies now, I was like, that what's that, Hobbs and Shaw? That movie's incredible, man. I was checking that stuff, Hot Fuzz, yeah, man. So I was like, what's that guy? Simon
Pegg.
Yeah. Shaun of the Dead. All that.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Paul is pretty good too, with the alien abduction.
Oh yes, but also like what's that? 28 days later. What's the gentleman? He's on that show Peaky Blinders. He was in that. Man, Peaky Blinders is great. I know they're coming back, I think, for a final season or something. Like Peaky Blinders is on Netflix here, and that's incredible. We're the Peaky Blinders. It's like, oh man, I love Peaky Blinders, man. So yeah, that's anyway. I love British television, as you can tell, but that's it's what I'm into. I can't help it, man. Please don't.
Well, there we go. Back to animation. Do you like Aardman stuff? Wallace and Gromit, the Stop Frame animation company. Yeah. That's in my town. Aardman is around here, so every now and again you see big promotions of things by them.
I saw his. What was he did the chicken? Was it Chicken Run?
Chicken Run. Yeah.
Mel Gibson was the voice of the. Dude, I watched all that. If it's animation, I'm always gonna check it out, man. So yeah. But yeah, Wallace and Gromit. There's like a video game I think he was one of the producers of, because all the people in the video game, I'm pretty sure they modeled it after his style, with the big lip, the way he does his lips and everything.
Yeah, it's like a signature. It's like a signature, that big mask with the big teeth. And
I'm pretty sure. I think I can't remember the game, but it was like I think he's like a producer on it. And I guess he had done the character draw.
Nick Park.
Yeah, he had done all the. Yeah, and I was like, I can't remember the name of the game though. I was like. oh God, because I was like, man, he's got a video game. That's great. And, but no, like I said, I used to watch the old, a lot of that old claymation type stuff, like Gumby, and what was the other one with the guy Davey or something? I think it was geared towards Christians, and the guy had a dog. He was like, "Gee, Davey," I can't remember the name of that, but man, it was all claymation style and stuff.
Yeah.
So I found that stuff fascinating. So
yeah, I love that stuff. Absolutely love that. Yeah, if I could start everything, I'd probably go into stop motion animation, because I love shows like Morph, like Trapdoor, and Gumby as well. You know, it's
see, there
brilliant
you go,
stuff.
man.
Yeah.
Well, see, they bring Gumby back now, and it would be, it'd be all CGI stuff. It would just be Gumby, but it'd be CGI. Which, I mean, I've seen good CGI, I've seen bad CGI, but there's something about, like I said, my absolute favorite is just hand drawn animation. That is just I don't know, something about actually having to, I've watched videos where they have to, like some of the old Lion King and Little Mermaid stuff, where they have to draw it and then they have to move it just a little bit. And you have to do like a little flip book to make it move. It's like, oh, just to make sure it, and then you pass it off to the cleanup person and all that kind of stuff. I'm just fascinated by that. But I don't even think that's going to exist. Even if we do like a more cartoonish animated style, it'll probably be done on like a tablet or something. It'll be illustrated digitally, I'm sure.
It'll be, that's it. Because now you get the software and everything. It's just a different ball game. It's just it's like a niche.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be any reason. It's like, I waste thousands of pieces of paper doing that when we can still do it, but it'll just be on digital. But at least they'll still be drawing though. So I mean, that would be great. But Karl, it's been a pleasure, man. Let me go ahead and again check out Merry Boys on Indiegogo, guys. It is hot, and hopefully you will be seeing him shortly. I guess when they can figure out what a good time to stream would be, you will be seeing him on Comic Artist Pro Secrets with my good buddy Ethan Van Sciver. Again, Karl, let them have your social media so that they can like track you and hang out with you and whatnot.
Sure. Should I put it in the chat? How should I do it to type it? It might be easier to just type it in. Because the Twitter, I think the main place is just Twitter. I'm always on Twitter, so it's Merry Boys, letter 1, Merry Boys 1.
All right. Well, yeah, and I will
number 1.
Sure, those of you that are here that follow me, I'll make sure that I'll tag him into this when I retweet this live stream and everything, and get some more eyes on it. We definitely want to make sure people see him. And Nikki Harris did that. Merry Boys 1. That is correct. All right, guys. We're going to get out of here. I am extremely happy that Karl Stephan joined me here today. This, like I said, I think this is going to be a special book. I'm very much looking forward to seeing where he ends up, especially after my special friend can get a few more eyeballs on it. But with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. And if you guys want to reach out to me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and right here on this YouTube channel, everywhere is at Akari Press. And if you type in akaripress.com, it will take you directly to my Indiegogo campaign for my comic book series brand with the phenomenal Kanan White. We're on Teespring. We're on Amazon.com. The links to those are in the description. Back Merry Boys, guys.
Brilliant. Thanks, Antonio. Thanks very much for bringing me on. Really appreciate it.